guys, Pam Godboys from Pam Godboys Yoga and Wellness here today. And we're going to be moving through some upper body stretches. So these are yoga moves mostly that can be used in any sort of stretching practice, or you could do this whole practice to get just a little bit more mobile in the upper body if it's something you struggle with. And so what we're going to need today is a strap or something that can be made into a strap that's going to be long enough, maybe like a belt or a tie if you don't have a yoga strap. It really just is a belt. Maybe a couple of blocks or like a step stool or something that you can kind of, even a chair that you can kind of rig up for a little bit of assistance when we get there. So we're going to come to a seated position on the floor. And you can come onto a prop. I'm actually sitting on another rolled up yoga mat. I like to use a second mat as a seat just to help lift the chest a little bit more. So it rotates, rolls the pelvis, the top of the pelvis comes forward, and then I can lift a little bit more through the rib cage so I'm not in this like slumped in front of the computer position because we're trying to combat that today. So we'll roll forward, take a little lift. Bring the chin kind of parallel to the floor. I'll just start by taking a few breaths here. And so because this is a practice that's a yoga practice where we're doing a lot of deep stretching of the upper body, I will cue the breath and I ask you to just be kind of mindful of where your breath is and if you're struggling with it at all. So maybe you're bringing the breath into the belly, expanding the belly, drawing the belly in. On the next inhale, you can bring the right ear towards the right shoulder. And just take a moment here. It might be kind of a big stretch, might be not much of a stretch for you. At the same time, draw the left shoulder down. So it has a tendency to do this. Draw it down. You'll feel a nice opening down the neck and stretch maybe out into the shoulder, across the back maybe. Come back up through center, taking your time. Slowly lift the head back up, or maybe the head drops down. It's a lot of pressure on the neck. And bringing the left ear towards the left shoulder. And again, the right shoulder draws down and away. So that's where the stretching action comes from. We're just coming as far as is kind of naturally comfortable here. And then drawing the shoulder down to get a little bit more stretch. The next inhale, let the chin roll down, coming towards the center. And exhale, right ear towards the right shoulder. Kind of doing some half head circles. And then inhale back down through center. And exhale over to the left. So just moving sort of with your breath here. Inhale as you come to center. Exhale, right ear towards right shoulder. Inhale, center. Exhale, left ear towards left shoulder. We'll do a few more. And come back to center. Let's let the head stay drawing down towards the chin here. And think about taking the back of the head and reaching it forward. So we're not crunching down, stay lifted through the spine. And just think about getting long through the back of the neck. Almost like you're a turtle, pulling the shoulders away as you press the head forward just a bit. And then we'll allow the shoulders to relax. Draw the head up. Chin comes to parallel one more time. Bring the hands behind the head as if you're going to do a crunch, right? So we interlace maybe and hug the elbows forward. And as we hug the elbows forward, we're going to press the head back into the hands, and we're going to use the arms as resistance. So not a big resistance, not a lot, just press the head back and get longer. So as we press back, maybe the head the hands grab onto the head and lift you a little bit taller. And then seeing if you can send the breath into the back of the body. So sending it into like the upper back, the back of the ribs. See if you can expand the ribs and the lungs backwards. One more here. Release, come down to center. Nice job. We're going to find our strap. So opening the hands to maybe a little bit wider than shoulder width, or maybe double shoulder width. It just depends on your mobility. You'll find out in a second. So we're going to reach the arms away so they extend forward, and then we're going to pull the strap apart. So it's not just kind of hanging there. Pull it apart. You can use a band or like a TheraBand or a stretchy band for this. And we're going to draw the arms up. Take a pause. Notice what happens here. And then we're going to bring the arms back behind. So for me, my hands are way too close together for that to happen. I'm going to slide my hand down the strap just a little. Bring it back. I lifted upper body today and I can feel it. All the way back down. I'm still pulling the strap apart. It's not getting kind of saggy behind me. It's not relaxing. Pulling it apart. I'm reaching the arms away. And then back up. And over. We'll do this a few times. If this is a lot of sensation for you, or if you're like, I don't own a strap long enough, this is something you should be doing on a regular basis. The one thing you want to be cautious of is sometimes when we have a shoulder that's maybe a little bit not as mobile as the other, we'll do things like bend the arm or bring the arm way out to the side, and we do this kind of weird, and then we go, okay, we did it. So really try to be mindful, maybe even watch yourself in a mirror or record yourself so you can kind of see what this looks like. Bring it back. Up and through. And this helps with shoulder mobility, and you're probably feeling it across the pecs. Pec minor in particular, facet brachii, front of the deltoids. Yeah. Good times. And what you might notice is as you go through a few times, you find a little bit more mobility. The hands might be able to come a little bit closer together. One more here. And come up and through and release the strap down. Nice job. We're gonna come to stand. So find a wall or a door or a door jamb. It doesn't, whatever the prop is that you're using is fine. And what we're gonna do is we're going to start to create some space in the pecs, a little bit more space in the pecs. So I'm gonna bend my knees like I'm gonna sit down into a chair. Then I'm gonna bring my right hand just above and just in front of. So this is actually in front of my right shoulder. I'm going to press my fingertips in as if I'm a tree frog and I have little suction cups on my fingertips. I'm going to press those in. I'm going to take the elbow and spin the elbow forward. So what tends to happen is we come back. This is internal rotation. The elbow spins forward, external rotation. Take the head of the shoulder, that's this part here, like the deltoids, and pull it back. So we'll use the shoulder, movement of the shoulder blade to do that. And then press the hand in. And as you press the hand in, you start to turn the torso away from the arm. So you might sit a little bit lower. Be mindful here, maybe send the butt back so you have a little bit of arc. And just notice what's going on in your abdominal. Don't lock out, because then that puts a lot of strain on the, then we start stretching things like the elbow joint. That's not what we're looking for here. Press, 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 press. Keep pulling the shoulder head back. Keep spinning the elbow forward. Woo! And come back to center. Nice job. We'll switch to the other side. I'm going to use the back wall here so you can see it from a different angle. Hand's going to come above the shoulder. It's going to come in front of the shoulder. Same thing. Tree frog fingers, grip in. Bend the elbow, swing the elbow forward, and the shoulder head pulls back, because what tends to happen is the shoulder head tends to pop forward as we try to bring the elbow forward. Pull the elbow forward. Roll the shoulder head back like this, boop. And then press the fingertips in, Bend the knees, start to turn away, keep the elbow bent, keep the shoulder head drawing back. Press away, press away, press away. And then come back to the breath. And so this might be a lot for you, and that's okay. It's okay if it's a lot. Let it be a lot. Keep spinning that elbow forward. So we're finding that external rotation, hugging the shoulder head back and opening the pec minor. And we'll release back through center. And come back down to seated. Nice job. From here, we're going to bring our hands back behind us. So come back to a comfortable seated position. The hands are going to come back behind us and they're going to interlace. So I'm going to show you in front of me. You're going to bring your hands together. Thumbs come together. Interlace the fingers and then cross the knuckles. These knuckles are then going to press into the low back. So the hands are going to come behind, interlace, press the thumbs into the low back. And then what often happens for me anyway, and for a lot of people, is the shoulder heads roll forward. So just like we did on the wall, hug the shoulder heads back. As we hug the shoulder heads back, hug the elbows together and then press the thumbs forward. Use the bone. It's a sacrum. It's bone there, the back of your pelvis. Use that. So that helps to create a little bit of traction. So you press down there, squeeze the elbows together, shoulder heads back. Take a few deep breaths. If this doesn't work, if your hands will not clasp behind you, or you can use a strap, a towel, whatever you have that you used earlier. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to grab on. So if you have your hands clasped behind you, keep going. You're going to grab on and you're going to move so your palms face each other. So it will look like this. So you'll rotate. You're not going to be straight like this. Rotate so that you can press into the low back. Doesn't matter whether it's a strap or your hands. And then we hug the shoulders back. I sometimes do this because I can really feel this across the front of the deltoids and the pecs. Bicep brachii, and it takes the wrists out of it. So if you have wrist issues, sometimes this clasp, we start to put a lot of torque, and the opening happens in like a funny little torque in the wrist, and we don't want that. So if you have weakness in your wrists at all, using a strap might be a better option for you there, unless your shoulders are just really open. So we'll take another breath or two here. And then release. I'm going to come into a little leg stretch while we're here. So I'm going to cross my left leg on top. Right leg is going to come underneath. And so on this prop, it helps so that I can roll the pelvis. And then I can roll the legs forward and they stack on top of each other. This might not be it for you. You might stay in that cross-legged position. That's okay. But we're going to start with the left leg on top. So if you're in a cross-legged position, left leg still goes on top and crosses in front. So left leg on top means right arm up. So we'll draw the right arm up, turn the palm in, elbow, hard part of the elbow comes forward, not out to the side, forward. And then bend, grab on, pull back. So that the hand reaches back behind you. And this left hand is just here to brace, so you get a little bit of a stretch in that tricep. Maybe you're somebody that has really tight lats, or you're tight in your rotator muscles underneath the armpit. If that's the case, maybe you grab on, maybe you add in a little side stretch. Kind of getting into that lat muscles. And we'll come back up to center. Good job. So left leg is on top. So left arm is going to come underneath. So now we're going to come into eagle arms. Bring back of, cross the left arm under. And so you might just come here and give yourself a little hug. You might come here, back of hand, or hand to wrist. You might reach up, come across this way. You might stay right here. You might lift the elbows up, get a little stretch across the upper back. Take a few more breaths here. And slowly release the hands and slowly release the arms down. So left leg is still on top. I haven't moved the legs at all. So that means that right arm goes up again. This time we're going to take the left arm, we're going to sweep it so the arm rotates, right? So we were externally rotated before with the elbow coming forward like at the wall. Now we're going to rotate the other way. Elbow's going to go back and down. Palm is going to face behind you. So that's just the last little rotation. And the hand is going to sweep back behind, slide across. You might stay right there. You might wiggle the hand up the back. And the other arm comes up. You reach back and you clasp. So you're going to clasp maybe like this. Maybe you'll hook some fingers, see if you can get all four. Maybe you're somebody that has a pretty strong clasp here. Or you're going to take that strap back in that top arm and then start to work the hands towards each other. So the bottom hand kind of climbs up the strap a little, the top hand climbs down the strap a little. And then being mindful, because if you're really open here, if you have a strap, it's easy to let the elbow kick out to the side. Hug the elbow in, and then use the pressing of that left hand, just like we did a minute ago with the hands at the low back, and hug the shoulder head back and hug the elbow back. So we're using these poses, even if we're using a prop, a strap. That just makes our hands a little bit longer if those muscles are tight. Take another breath or two here. And slowly release. Back through center, let the hands come down. We're going to uncross the legs. We're going to switch sides. So sometimes it's hard to get out of this position if there's a lot of tension in the hips. If that's the case, just roll back. That allows for releasing in the tension. Maybe the bottom foot slides out, take some of the tension away, and you uncross the legs. Give them a moment there, and then we'll switch. So this time, right leg is on top. Just give yourself a breath or two here. Let yourself roll forward on those props once again. It might be some on a yoga mat. Yours might be a pillow, blanket. Doesn't matter. Whatever you have around is fine. And with the right leg up, left arm, this is not a leg, left arm comes up. And so again, it's not just here we're reaching back. Rotate so the palm faces in, but it's not just, we can rotate that at the wrist, right? The wrist does this, pronate, supinate. Hug, so the elbow comes forward. If you have to do it with a bent arm so you can see, do that. Then extend up, then bend, and grab on. And you might have to lift up in order to make that happen. That's okay. That's how we get mobility in our shoulder. You can't draw your shoulder blade down and plug your arm bone into your shoulder and extend your arm above your head. Actually, this is called flexion, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't, that movement doesn't work. It's not designed that way. So maybe you take a moment or two here, maybe you lift just to get more mobility, or maybe you lift a little baby side bend just to get into the lats just a bit on that left side. And slowly come back through center. Release the hands down. So again, right leg is on top. So that means right arm will be on the bottom. But if this is, I didn't say this on the other side, I do this all the time. If this is too much and you have a lot of tension along the back, you can always bring your elbows together, bring the palms together, and continue to squeeze the elbows together here. And you'll get a stretch as well. Yeah, left leg on top. Bottom, cross here and hug, back of hand, or palm to palm. What tends to happen is the elbows tend to want to drop. Lift the elbows towards the sky. So move them away and up. And even if you do those stretches, you know, you lift a little or you lift upper body and then you grab onto a post somewhere and you stretch out the pecs, you stretch out the back. That's great. it's good to have this kind of practice in as well because it will lend itself to greater mobility in those joints. So quick stretches when we're warm are great. A little bit more stretching where we kind of move through a sequence of stretches is just as is more beneficial to the musculature and the joints. So we'll release the hands, back, release down, and we'll come back. This pose called cow face or Gomukhashnu. So in order to get that arm up, we rotate, bend, right arm comes out, rotate, sweep around. And you might have, like I have a hood on right now, I can grab onto my hood if I can't reach with my hands, or you might come back to that prop, finding that strap. The thing about using props is it allows you to create more space. So hug the elbow in, press the hand in, elbow hugs back, shoulder head hugs back, and breathe here. And slowly release, inhale. Let go of the strap or let go of the bind. Release the arms down. Long cross. Maybe slide back again so that you can uncross a little bit more easily. And add in a little movement here. So depending on where the tension is in your legs, that pose specifically targets the outer hip, the glute piriformis. But if you're really tight through the IT bands, which I happen to be today, I'm not usually, but I am today, you'll feel it there. You'll feel it out in the outer leg line. So once you're ready to, we're going to find our way onto our hands and knees. So as we come onto our hands and knees, just take a moment, curl the toes under, let the belly start to sink down towards the ground, but it's not like a belly pooching out thing. The belly's still toning in and up. We start to create a little back bend. So the sits bones lift towards the sky. This is called anterior tilt. Send the hands round a little bit through the upper back. And then slowly press up and back to down dog. So maybe opening the feet even up to as wide as mat width distance. And start to shift a little bit from side to side. Press into the hands. See if you can find that external rotation. So that action where we did with the arm, we rotated the hard part of the elbow forward. See if you can find that same position and then rotate the hands out. And hands can be as wide apart as the mat. They do not have to be like shoulder width distance. It doesn't have to be like where you would be in a plank right underneath the shoulders. It can be wider than that if that's what you need for the mobility in your shoulders. And bring the knees down. Bring the toes together. Press back here to child's pose. And so if this is a lot on you, on your chest, and you want to come up to your forearms, you can do so. There's a little bit of rounding through the spine. Maybe the arms will extend out. And in this position here, we'll inhale as we walk the fingertips over to the right side. And as the fingertips walk to the right side, left fingertips walk further, ribs slide over to the left a little, and the head drops down. We'll inhale as we walk our fingers back through center, over to the left side. Right hand reaches a little bit further. Ribs slide over to the right. Head comes down here.
We'll inhale as we come back through center. Coming into a little bit more tricep stretch or upper spine stretch here. So maybe grabbing onto your blocks if you have blocks. If you don't, you could use a chair. I could very easily, this is also my office, very easily grab my office chair and do the same thing. The position is on an office chair, you'd be more upright with the elbows down, hands, and then let the head drop through. So this is what the position looks like. Elbows come to the blocks, hands come together. Chest starts to sink through. And maybe if you want a little bit of back bend here, a little bit more opening through the chest, you'll walk the knees back more so you're more in a table position here. Remember to breathe. And take another breath or two here. Slowly press yourself back. Again, to child's pose, so the hips sink back. Maybe the hands are on the blocks this time. And you don't have to use the blocks. You could always just be here. Or you could scoot yourself forward and be here. I'm starting to find a little bit more space. Moving my hands underneath the shoulders. Slowly walk your way back up. Taking your time, drawing the shoulders down. That is what we have for stretching today. We'll get deeper into the lats, rhomboids, traps as we move forward. I'll add some more sequences for that, but that's upper body, arm, shoulder, chest for right now. Thanks, guys. And if you have any questions, let me know. You can reach out to me at pamgodboyce.com or pam@pamgodboyce.com is my email address. So hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.